Alright, guys. Happy Black Pride weekend in San Diego. Wow. It's off to a fun start. I think today's events, I went to Friday nights. Saturday, I think the events, it looks like it says like 11 to 1. It's like, it's called like a fam bam barbecue or something like that. I'm not going to that one. And Sunday there's another event too. I'm not really able to fully pull them up right now, but yeah, so it was nice getting out to the gay club. Nice getting out to some gay bars, clubs, good food, being around a lot of queer people, enjoying myself. Yeah. There was at the mini ball, there was a Vogue competition. So Gossip Grill basically had the dance floor for the mini ball. So if you've ever been to Gossip Grill, when you first walk in, near where they look at your ID, there's a left side and a right side. One side I think is smoking, and these are outdoor patios. There's a left side or right side for the patios. Outdoor for eating, drinking, whatever. And then, it has like seats and stuff. And then you walk in, and there's like a little fire pit area on the left, kind of. But it is kind of an outdoor space. It has like, it's kind of like other than the dance floor part, the little part where you first walk in is like it's like a courtyard, or like a courtyard, but it's covered with like a canopy and like umbrellas and stuff. So you don't really notice that it's like that, but it is. There's a standing bar kind of in the middle. And then to the right of that standing bar, like parallel, there's a bar, like where you can like, well, I guess it's not really a standing bar. It's like a standing area where you, like, it has that, like a long, thin table type thing where you can kind of put your drinks, but it's standing room only. Like, there's no chairs, nothing like that. You just stand and put your drink on the little table area. But yeah, parallel to that area, there is a bar where you can order drinks, food. If you keep going towards the back, there's usually like 2-3 tables to the back there. So that standing area where you can put your drinks is kind of in the middle. So I explained parallel to that, to the right, there's a bar. Parallel to that, to the left, they have like some sit-down, like square tables. So it's kind of a crammed space. You have those square tables on the left, people standing in the middle, people at the bar on the right. Towards the back, there's more people sitting. The bathrooms are all the way at the back. They have an any gender, and they have men's, basically. But usually, most of the day, you can use both. When it's a crowded event and it gets busier, then they do actually make it so only men used one, but there's often a combination of men and women using different bathrooms. It's technically a lesbian bar and club. But anyone's welcome there, but it's technically a lesbian space. So right in front of where there's usually that shared bathroom, there's this kind of raised up little area that has a big fire pit in there. These fire pits aren't always on, but it has a big fire pit. It has some seating around, and a lot of times the DJ's posted up there, sometimes depending what the event is. So that's just one side. So I explained the patios and the, I guess, main eating area. But there's a door between the bar and those back tables before you get to the bathrooms. There's a door on the right that goes into a dance floor, and there's a I think one bathroom there that's like a single door bathroom where one person can go in. And then there's a bar in there with seats at the bar. And depending, they have events in there. They have a stage. They would screen the L word sometimes. Like I said, they have a stage. They have a bar. They have a screen on like behind the stage. They have a dance floor. Sometimes in the daytime there's like seating in the back, but a lot of times they'll move out that seating, so it's only a dance floor, and then like the DJ will post up. I don't really know exactly where I've seen the DJs post up in different corners, but it kind of just depends what the arrangement looks like. So that's kind of the layout. And then, so basically the Black Pride event was all the way mostly on the dance floor. Last year it was at Rich's. Black Pride was at Rich's. It was all of Rich's. This year it's at Gossip. Well, that event specifically was at Gossip, but only on the dance floor. And then the rest of the space was not a Black Pride space, so people who didn't have tickets to the event could still eat. They could still go there. They could still go to the bars, whatever. So I'm wondering, kind of what ended up going on. Maybe using Rich's is too much. Now Rich's has a room that has hip hop and like R&B, dance music, and it has like an EDM room. And they've kept that back patio pretty well open, and the front small patio by the sidewalk. So Rich's has way more space. But yeah, Rich's just has a ton more space, but they're just I don't know if they didn't want to host it because they have to take like a whole night out of their weekend, plus it's 4th of July weekend, so they had a 4th of July weekend event. And yeah, it was a good time. I had some fun. I'm kind of tired, but in a good way. Ate a healthy breakfast. I guess it was lunch, technically, a late lunch. But yeah, I've been enjoying kind of like being out and about. We went over the Flicks. It's another gay bar. Before 10 o'clock, they do have like tables and chairs. Then after 10 o'clock, they take them away, and it's just all dance floors. They have 2 bars, a wall dividing. Their bathroom situation isn't ideal. They have a bathroom on the left that has a single stall that has a urinal within the single stall as well as a toilet. And then they also have a urinal outside of that single stall, a little bitty divider, and a sink. And that whole door stays open. So if people go in, and people can see you. I mean, the stall has a door. People can see you, though. Like, kind of. Like, it's not the most private of bathrooms, but there's security. And then there was one on the right. There's a bathroom on the right across from that bathroom. Usually that's the women's bathroom. Women's and everybody's bathroom is on the left because it's got the urinals. On the right side, it's men's bathroom. I don't know if it's all urinals. I've never been in there, but I think it's all urinals. And then there's a single stall. But, I mean, for those types of places, you just learn to not need the bathroom. You just don't go to the bathroom too much. Because if you have to go and then you end up waiting in line, like my friend was first in line, there was a drag queen in the bathroom, in the stall. And sometimes people go in with like couples, and then you're like, I hope they're actually using the bathroom, because if they're hooking up in there, like it takes a while. So every now and then they have to call security to come and be like, yo, like, who's in the bathroom? Why are they taking so long? Kind of thing. And usually it's a couple like hooking up in the stalls or whatever, and they have to come in, or people will get a little aggressive and start like knocking on the door pretty hard. And yeah, so that's usually what ends up happening. So, I mean, I don't really know what I wanted to talk about specifically. Just the fact that I'm happy to be back around the queers. It was one of the more comfortable situations I'd been back in. It's just so much freer, you know? People are just, I mean, I'm not saying gay people are nicer than straight people. I'm just saying environment-wise, it's friendly. You can talk to people. I was with friends. I was with a friend, and they had a friend of a friend there. We just partied the night away. We danced the night away, drank the night away, had fun. I'm not hungover today. I did have a couple drinks. I warmed up before I went there, you know. had an edible, did a lot of dancing as exercise before I left the hotel. So I was pretty, loosened up to dance. One thing I don't like, it's not a big deal at all, but when I go and want to dance and I'm like, oh, I feel like stiff, So I didn't really feel stiff or anything, but I could have, I didn't get that much exercise in. It was maybe like 26 minutes, but that was enough. I was loosened up more than if I had done absolutely nothing. So it was nice to loosen up. It was nice to, be there amongst friends, have a bunch of gay conversations about dating and not dating and people and friends. It's just, it can be kind of hard to have like deeper conversations with some people when they're drinking. It just depends. Everybody's got their own kind of personality that kind of comes out. So that is one thing that's like, sometimes it's like there might not be a lot of depth, or there might be, but it's just like other people digging into their depths, and you're just like, what's going on? But that's fine. And then, it was fun kind of going to like kind of going out to just going out dancing, drinking. I had this raspberry blueberry cider that I'd never had before. I don't know who makes it. It was delightful. It was kind of sour, but not too sour. Kind of like how blackberries, sometimes they're a little bit sour, but not really. It was pretty light. I think in all I had to drink like most of a Corona, not a whole one. I didn't finish that whole cup of cider in a glass. Almost though, almost. And then I had a sip of Hennessy, a sip of some other hard liquor, tasting my friends' drinks. And that's basically all I had as far as drinks. I was vaping. And there was a certain point where I was like, ooh, this is the level I want to be on. But then, the Jello shot after that, I was like, and sipping the other friend's drink, I was kind of like, it kind of put me just slightly in a different level. And I was kind of like, I kind of like how I felt after the Hennessy shot a little bit better. It wasn't a shot, but I took like a gulp of my friend's drink, so it was like, to me it was like a shot. But did some dancing, enjoyed, music was good. The thing about flicks is that the music is like, it can be good, but they kind of cycle through. So you might like a bit of a set, and then they'll go to like a different genre or like something else. And so it depends like what you want to hear. There's like a mixture. They had some really good EDM mixes, and then like they might go into like a Latin mix for a little bit for a few songs. Then they might go into like a hip hop mix for a few songs. Then they might go into like a pop mix that's like a pop electro mix, or just like pop rock kind of stuff. They don't do too much rock, but kind of like pop rock, like what's something they might play? I don't know, something like Ashley Simpson or something like that, like something popular, but not super rock-ish. I like rock, I know not everybody likes it though, but I like it. But yeah, I met a couple people. That was kind of, it was kind of fun. I always like meeting people when I go out, and you know, uh, got a couple little compliments. That's always nice. It's always sweet when people kind of, even those slight little interactions are always kind of like a nice gesture, um, a nice little moment. But yeah, met some people. I initially thought I was just gonna go to Black Pride by myself, and I was kind of like, man, I wanted to meet some people, but or just like talk to people, but I was kind of really in my head about it. I was like, oh man. But I was glad that my friends didn't want to just do dinner, and they were like, let's go out after this, It's like, I don't want to just eat, I want to go out too. So we went out and, like I said, danced the night away, had a good time. It was fun. It was nice. We it was fun meeting people, but sometimes people are a little, I don't know, a little weird. Like, this guy kept talking about how he doesn't like to fight people, but that he will fight people or whatever, and like that's how he kind of came up in this whole conversation, like making this whole conversation. But I'm kind of like, you need a conversation starter. But I was like not sober enough to really think through, like, okay, how can we change off of this subject, because it's not going anywhere. Like, he keeps saying like I'll fight a you know what, or like I'll like kind of like sassy drama, like fake hypothetical sassy drama, like I'm too cute to fight, and like all like this is the kind of stuff this person was just like saying. So I thought I feel like there were a little bit of missed opportunities to talk to the person that he was with. I kind of would have talked to her more, but I feel like I was like so, not like in my head, but like, sometimes when you get that like social energy, because I was like vaping, it kind of went away. So I was kind of like, I didn't have that like alcohol social energy. I had that like cannabis vaping chill energy. But they were still fun to hang with and talk to. Like, I talked to her a little bit. She was nice. And, they were talking about, if somebody can use the N-word. And it was kind of like, I don't know. I was kind of like not into that guy's conversation. I was more into the other person that was with him. But it was hard to kind of try to get a word in, because he was kind of like constantly talking, and I was kind of like, well, I'm calm, like, and I could probably outrun somebody, so I'd rather just, if something ever came up, they could take a swing, but once that starts, I would probably just run away like as fast as I can to safety or whatever, and they can chase me if they really want to chase me. But unless I'm totally cornered and can't run, there's no way I'm going to be in a fight. Like, I don't get in situations where I need to fight, but I do understand that self-defense is important. I would recommend everybody learns how to defend themselves. At least know like one or two things. I mean, I'm not a professional in this area at all, but one or two things, how to block a couple types of moves that somebody might aggressively do against you, and how to either do one takedown move or one move that kind of, if you were cornered, you could kind of like get that person weakened to a point where you could, get out of a grip, or out of them being you know attacking you or whatever, or trying to corner you, if it gets to that point. But I mean, I think it's important to learn. It's good to know how to fight, but you know being in a fight is probably not the best thing. It was just kind of interesting that was kind of the talking point, and I was like, I wasn't sober enough to kind of take the conversation out of there, but it would have been cool, to kind of, I don't know, I kind of wanted to talk to them more. Like, we talked to them for a while. I kind of wanted to talk to them more, but, like, I kind of wanted to hang out with my friends, too. But, we all introduced ourselves. It was fun. It's nice, it's nice to go out and just, like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like straight bars are that way too much. Like, it's hard to really meet people. Like, just meeting people to meet people. Like, I wasn't trying to, like, meet anybody to go home with, or meet anybody for whatever reason. Just meeting people to meet people. And, common courtesy. People, you just stay polite. If you don't want to talk anymore, you can say something like, oh, I'm going to go look around inside, going to go take a lap. Sometimes people say they're going to be right back, but they're not going to be right back. So I wouldn't say, I don't know, I'm the kind of person that's like, I know what people mean when they say certain stuff, but I try to be more, like, forthcoming. Like, if I'm not going to come back, I'm not going to be like, I'll be right back, because the person might actually be waiting. Like, if I don't want to talk to them, I'm not going to say I'm going to be right back. I would just say it was nice meeting them, or whatever, or if there's, like, a little break, just kind of turn and, like, walk away, or, like, turn to your friends, start talking to your friends a bit, and just kind of motion and walk back to another area. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, like, people are pretty casual in meeting. And like, I always think it's interesting, the kind of conversations that people start. But that was I was like, okay, I've never had somebody try to start a conversation about fighting, but it doesn't really open the door for a whole lot more talking points. Like, that's why I'm usually kind of like, I've already mentioned it, I'm kind of like, if somebody's vaping, usually I want to know what they're vaping. Like, the lady he was with was vaping, but it was like a nicotine vape. But I usually kind of want to know, like, oh, what are you vaping? Like, does it have a flavor? Like, and try to, because that's something, okay, I'll put it this way. It's something I know things about. I actually am genuinely interested in, like, even if it's nicotine, tobacco type products, I'm interested in what they are. Like, I'm curious about any substance related thing, and especially ones that you don't, like, if I'm drinking a Corona in a bottle, it's like, well, it's Corona, it's in a bottle, it has a label. If somebody's vaping something, it isn't obvious what they're vaping. I don't have the type of skill where I can smell it and be like, oh, this is whatever that is. Like, these days people can vape all kinds of stuff, so I do like knowing what people can vape, what people are vaping, and kind of learn about it through them telling me. And usually it's like, when you see someone at a bar or a club, like, vaping, it's probably not the first time that they're ever vaping. Like, they carry it with them, they bought it, and, it's probably something regular about their life. And so I try to ask them questions. Now, I'm not like a tobacco using person, but I don't have anything against tobacco as a plant. But as far as smoking with nicotine, I'm not really into the nicotine part of things. I don't really smoke tobacco anyways, but I'm not against it, you know. I just I'm not the one who's always doing it, that's all. I'm not against it. Um I don't think it's healthy for you, necessarily, in the way that most people do it, how they just constantly are hitting it. But um it's you know, it's something that interests me, and it's something that's a part of their life. And so usually when I see people vaping, I do kind of ask them what they're vaping, and like ask questions about it, and like I'm not like intrusive, like, oh, are you trying to quit or whatever, but like just try to get more, like, sometimes that conversation leads into other stuff, like other things that people like to do. You know, you like to drink. Do you smoke weed? Do you like shrooms? Do you like ecstasy? Do you like, you know, speed? Like, what do you like? You know, do you like meth? Do you like cocaine? Like, I kind of want to know a little bit more. And sometimes people will, you know, not be too honest. Like, they think, oh, you'll think I'm cool if I say this, or you'll think I'm cool if I don't say that, or like they might be trying to make a good impression, and maybe they are like a drug addict, and then they don't want to say that. But I just kind of like to know, just because I feel like, well, we're already smoking here, we're probably already drinking, we're already under the influence, you might as well talk about drugs, you know. Like, I don't feel like it's too intrusive, but it's personal enough. It kind of tells me something about a person. Like, if somebody's like, oh yeah, I like, I don't know, I'm trying to think about something that somebody would like that would be like super, something somebody would like, yeah, one person I met recently did say they liked ecstasy. They don't like weed, they like ecstasy, you know, stuff like that. And they were just kind of like, you know, that's a conversation for me. It's like, oh, like, why don't you like weed? And like, I try not to be like, I try not to be judgmental of people, because I get why people don't like stuff, but I kind of like to know, what do you like, what don't you like, why. Like, for me, if I'm talking to somebody newly, I mean, I'm not like excessive about it, but it's like, those to me are easy conversation starters that like people usually don't mind talking about it, because you're in a party environment, you know. Usually if they see you're vaping a weed product, that almost like assumes that you're pretty open-minded about things. Like, if somebody's drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette, you might not be like, oh, like, I can talk to this person about other stuff. But for some reason with weed, when people know you're smoking weed, they're kind of like, oh, you might be open to talking about other stuff too, you know, because it is kind of more of an alternative type of thing. But that's one thing that I've noticed, and that's kind of my, you know, like, talk about edibles, talk about shrooms, you know, talk about legal mushrooms, like even like lion's mane, all kinds of stuff. Supplements, working out, that can lead to conversations about working out, exercise. I really try and be, you know, like, I try to be, you know, just pretty chill about that kind of stuff, you know. And I mean, I'm not saying I did all that, I was talking about all that, but like, those are some things that for me are like comfort zones of topics to discuss with people that I'm just meeting, because I feel like I learn a lot about them. I'm like, just from learning what people do or where they've done it, you learn if they go to raves, if they go to concerts, if they go to music festivals, if they like doing certain substances, if they grow stuff, if they want to grow stuff, if they're interested in different stuff and why they're interested in those things, or if they're trying to like spiritually or psychologically unlock something, or if they're maybe like dealing with something or know they're dealing with things and don't want to unlock those things. Like people, when they're talking about different substances and things, I feel like those are the conversations that kind of come up. And I'd rather that to me is like an easy way to kind of get to know something about people without being like, so where'd you go to school? What's your major? Like, where do you work? Like, what do I don't want to know all that kind of stuff. I want to know, like, what kind of, like, when I first meet someone, I kind of want to know, like, get a feel for kind of like, okay, I see you in your party mode right now. What other party modes do you have? What else do you do? What other extracurriculars are you up to? What other, extracurriculars? What other, types of maybe goals do you have or interests in certain things? Just all the interests attached to it, I think that's an easier way to kind of get to know people, in all honesty. Just asking questions on those levels, I found it to be pretty beneficial for getting to know people. And so that's kind of how I go about talking to people. And you can even talk to people if they're not drinking or smoking. It's like you see someone at a bar and then you notice they don't have a drink and you kind of ask them, what's your favorite kind of drink, or what do you usually drink? Are you drinking today? Or you're not even trying to buy them a drink, but like, just trying to see kind of generally, where people are with things, I think that's kind of fun. And it can be awkward maybe too, but I'm kind of an awkward person, and I'm not saying I have the world's best of social skills either, like, but I feel like it's those types of conversations that are kind of like, it can be lighthearted. Talking about drugs and substances are one of those things that are kind of like, it's a little taboo, it's a little personal, but it's also a little funny. It can be a little fun. People can tell stories. And, if people are trying to quit something or aren't really interested in using something, they can talk about that too. And it's like, at least that's something that, I could come away from a conversation knowing that about someone, that like, oh, like, they want to go and like try ayahuasca and the reasons why they want to try it, or like some people have more of a curiosity about certain things, other people just don't. And you can kind of learn a lot about a person, I think, just from opening those types of conversations. I mean, there's obviously other stuff to talk about, but I kind of don't really like the whole, what do you do for work, where do you live? I don't mind so much the where do you live, but what do you do for work? What do you like those kind of topics that are like do people really care? Do people really care what you really do for work? Like, is that really that important of a thing to know? But I don't know. It's a comfort zone question too. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. Just for me, it's kind of like I don't really want to talk about it because it's like I'm out and about. I'm not working when I'm out. I don't really want to talk about my job, so I don't really want to ask other people about their job. I mean, I'll eventually get to know where people work, or if they want to tell me, I'll listen. But I mean, that's like the least of my interests when I first meet somebody is like, what's your job? I do like when people are in school, I like to know what they're studying, like what they're interested in, what kind of stuff they enjoy reading, or even like free time, what they like to read and stuff like that. But yeah, I outside of that, I really excuse me, I really don't know. Yeah, I just had a good time, and I've kind of missed having those kind of nights, just going out, coming back all like wired off of whatever I took and just staying up a couple extra hours and just hanging out, staying awake and just making good memories, having a fun time. I enjoyed myself. But yeah. So I've got a couple more plans for this weekend. For Black Pride weekend, we're not really doing I don't think I'm really doing the other Black Pride events unless people cancel on me, but the other people cancel on me, then I'll go and visit the other friends at the Black Pride events. The other Black Pride events. But yeah, like it's just been a fun time. It's been a pretty good fun time. And yeah, I'm enjoying. So that's it for now. Yeah, that's it for now. I have some other stuff to record about later, but I kind of feel like I want to chill for a while. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening.